We've got 3 new people, lots of older people.
Yeah.
You know what? I almost said, what's the PC of saying that? But I mean, if the president can refer to countries as shitholes, I can just say older rouletters. I mean, there's no, yeah, it really is. It really is dealer's choice for everything, yeah. Okay, so our very first, a new rouletter who is okay with going first, so thank you so much. He's going to suggest many ways to begin, and he's got a cool thing. He's actually going to read the hyperlinks. And I know you're like, but don't I click on those? No, not today, because this is the roulette. This is a shock of a new beginning. I'm going to shock you with a new way of experiencing a hyperlink. Please welcome Brennan Utley.
I have to read from my phone, so hopefully it doesn't like go black in the middle of it. But anyways, Endless, the novel from which this excerpt is being read, is structured around the form of a hypertext, which means that it will be published with hyperlinks in the primary section of the text that the reader can click on that will lead to other sections. These sections will also have hyperlinks that the reader can click on, and there will also be possible hyperlinks within these hyperlinks, some of which will also lead back to the primary text itself. The reader is free to follow these tangents, or they are free to read the primary text on its own. Think of it as a Wikipedic novel rather than an encyclopedic one. The theme of this reading is shocking new beginnings, and as a result, I'm going to read the first 2 paragraphs from the story within the novel. Each time I reach a hyperlink that I'm going to jump to, there's other ones, but some of them I'm just going to skip past, but when I reach one, I'm going to ring these bells. The first story is called Where to Begin. Every festival starts with a line, but where to begin? One could begin with the author, though this could be perceived as a self-indulgent choice. Self-indulgent. In this section of the text, I would like to critically discuss the issue of self-indulgence, because I can already sense a number of you out there in the faceless audience, bristling, tightening like a nun, stammering and suffocating at the thought of this phrase, self-indulgence, holding a paper bag to your mouth and hyperventilating, snot oozing from your nose that you wipe off with a trembling hand and accidentally smear on the frames of your horn-rimmed glasses, glued together with off-white tape to keep your dirty spectacles from separating into 2 pieces, you idiot, leaving you blind as a bat to wander through this hopeless world in a blurry haze, muttering to yourself, where am I? I can't find my glasses. Where are my glasses? Listen here. Listen here, you snotty-nosed, overly critical, touchy to the point of erosion, imbecile. This is my work, the work, and I will be self-indulgent when I damn well please. Thank you very much. Hold on, wait, I'm sorry. I think I need to stop a moment. I got a little hostile there. Let me try to get a hold of my emotions, and I can try again less defensively this time. As a reader, you need to be prepared for some self-indulgent passages in this novel. How the text is structured guarantees this. But if you're concerned about this, before I make the abysmal, well, if you don't like it, then you can get out argument, I'd like to make another, more complete, thought-out, and logical one instead. Self-indulgence is the name of the game these days. Writing this at the beginning of the 21st century, sometime in the 2010s, it's pretty clear to me that we've become a culture wholly devoted to ourselves. We create profiles of ourselves, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the like, in the name of self-promotion. We write blogs, create art and music, all in the name of becoming who we are and in finding ourselves and broadcasting the many versions of ourselves through time and space, all over the world. Is indulging this inclination really all that wildly different from so much of the other content that we consume on such a regular basis? I'll concede that in the structure of a novel, this sort of thing, self-indulgence that is, should be avoided. Especially since character, plot, and theme are supposed to be the name of the game where novels are concerned. But I have to refute this by mentioning that all plots, all themes, all characters return to the self of both the author and the audience. Of the audience member whose eyes are poring over this text to begin with. Sure, plot, character, and theme are the conduit through which myself and your own communicates, but the fact is there are so many new forms of communication being piled up and exhibited all around the world, at increasing and decreasing speeds of relevance all the time, many of which can be used to communicate new ideas, messages, plots, themes, and characters, of which I hope this novel has a few, to say the least. If self-indulgence, whatever that even means, is not for you, then you can read something less self-indulgent. But I'm quite sure you'll have a hard time finding anything not self-indulgent if you're willing to look hard enough. Self-indulgence is often the name of the game with us humans, whether we like it or not. Oh, and as promised, if you don't like it, then you can get out. And to go back to the primary text. Though this could easily be perceived as a self-indulgent choice, and in many ways it may in fact be. One could also begin with a discussion of the major themes of the novel, though since these will be developed later, this could also be seen as a mistake. One can also consult a list of epigraphs before diving into the beginning, which is not a bad idea, but is not required of the reader. If the author was forced to begin putting aside the nearly infinite possibilities of origin in order to finally reach a starting point, the author would likely need to begin on Sunday, the final day of the endless festival of music, arts, and technology, at dawn. Bodies were already beginning to rise and accumulate into lines. Lines. If the festival was anything, it was a collection of lines. Lines of people waiting, lines of music being performed, lines of coke being snorted, lines separating the campsites, the VIP areas, the RV sections, the stages from one another, lines of code, lines of graffiti etched across cement walls used as boundaries, lines of endless fantasy, each orbiting around the other in opposite directions, crisscrossing and connecting briefly before shifting out into other trajectories. Fantasies within fantasies being transmitted and neglected. Lines of text spilling out like a spool from the beats themselves onto a digital page, automatic writing, both exhilarating and terrifying the author. Every festival starts with a line, but where to begin? And then to go back to the primary text. Bodies were already beginning to rise and accumulate into lines beneath the already ubiquitous brightness of the sun. Whether under a canopy or enveloped in the confines of a tent, it was already difficult to keep one's eyes closed and focused on sleep. And that's where I'm going to stop.